Hey YouTube land, Tycondrius here doing another action figure review, and today we're having a look at the Pumpkinhead 1/12 scale collectible figure from the folks at Syndicate Collectibles. Now, I picked this really awesome figure up from the good folks over at Uncanny Collectibles. I will throw a link in the description below to their website. They're a Irish-based company that deals with collectibles, pretty much you name it they got it kind of type thing, in regards like collectible cards. I recently got in, they do deal with trade-ins and stuff like that, so they recently got in like a huge pile of Pokemon stuff. I myself have traded some things in against stuff as well. They do Halloween items, masks, stuff like that, Halloween based things, horror movie based stuff, props. I actually got my, I think it was Syndicate Collectibles as well, I think it was the same company made it, but it's the Ashy Slashy, if you want to call it, the Ash Williams chainsaw from the Evil Dead films. I got that from them as well. And this is the Pumpkinhead. Now, I will say that the top of my box is a little bit damaged, because in my haste to open it, I kind of tore the cardboard on this. There should be a full cardboard top to this. As you can see, it should go all the way up and around, and there should be a plastic panel here that is missing. I kind of messed that up when I was trying to open the box. But for the most part, you have an image of the figure. I believe it's not one of the images from the film on the front. And then on the back of the box, you just have kind of legalese stuff, the MGM logo, Syndicate Collectibles websites, and Pumpkinhead name. Again, there is more stuff on the bottom, more legalese mumbo jumbo. And opening the box. Now, the figure is out of the box, but if it was in the box, you would be treated to the figure displayed within. It doesn't have a huge amount of accessories, but that is normal for this particular figure, because it didn't need that many to begin with. Unlike figures like of characters, say like Jason or Michael Myers and all those, they all use kind of weapons and stuff like that. The Pumpkinhead demon creature or demonic creature from the film really only used its own hands for dealing out its justice, to say the least. Now, I have only ever watched the first Pumpkinhead film. Apparently there is 4 in total. It's not a film series that I really remember there being more than one of. So, like, unlike, as I said, the Hellraisers, the Friday 13th, the Halloween movies, they all have had at least nearly double-digit outings in their sequels. But for some reason, Pumpkinhead only has a mediocre 4 outings. Even the Leprechaun series had about 4 or 5 films, I think, or did it even go up as far as 10? I'm not too sure. But some of them tend to kind of be even though it's an iconic creature design, it hasn't had that many outings in the horror realm of things, but it is a cool creature design. So I'm going to pause this here, we get into the figure, and I'll bring the figure out and we can have a look at it in all its amazing glory and its accessories. So here he is in all its amazing glory. What I'm going to start off with is with the tape measure, so you can see how tall this thing is. It is, bear in mind, it is done as a 1/12 scale figure. So this thing stands roughly around 9, maybe hair over 9¼ inches in height. It is a very tall figure. Now, as I said, bear in mind, it is done as a 1/12 scale figure. And if you want a scale comparison, I'll do that quickly and get that out of the way. It means it's in scale to figures like this. This is the G.I. Joe Classified Destro, a very old first run Black Series Stormtrooper, and we have more Black Series figures. Here is the Hoth Snowtrooper. So given its design, you can see how big this thing is. does stand almost as if it was in scale with, say, a NECA figure. So if I just bring in Flash Gordon here, this is one of the comic book versions of Flash. You can see it's even towers over him, and this is more 110, whereas the previous figures were 112. So you can see there is a good scale comparison between those figures. Now I'm just going to move some of this stuff out of the way. For it, as I said, for its accessory count, let me move Mr. Stormtrooper so he's not taking up valuable screen space. It is fairly light. So the default head it comes with, if I remember correctly, I did swap out its head, is this more snarling head, or more open mouth head. So it comes with a couple of different heads, mainly this one. You have the closed mouth head. You can see the sculpting of the brain cavity section, or whatever you want to call it, on this thing. It would have been nice if they did one with an articulating jaw, but they didn't. They actually opted just to do optional heads with the different expressions. So you have this kind of more closed mouth, you have this more open mouth, and then the one that currently has is more of a gritting teeth style. So you can see the teeth are kind of, it's not a full open mouth, but you can see the teeth exposed on the inside of the mouth. It is pretty cool. And then for its last two accessories, it comes with a grip hand, and I believe it's intended for this accessory specifically. It comes with a grip hand with this wooden cross. Actually, I'll take the cross out. The cross is done in kind of a black plastic with a kind of a wood brownish wash over it. So it's not like a really bright wood, it's like a very dark wood. And then this cross, I believe, just sits in it. I know I can't remember the meaning behind the cross. I know in the film the creature is resurrected as a means of gaining justice for it. It uses dark magic to resurrect it. And the basic story behind the original film was a guy's son ends up getting killed by a group of teenagers in an accident, and he goes for retribution, and he summons the Pumpkinhead to take that revenge. And in the interim, it basically starts running amok, kind of thing. But it is a really cool creature design, and it is really nicely overall designed. Now, if some of the elements on this look kind of familiar, the studio that designed this creature originally is none other than the amazing Stan Winston Studios that designed a ton of iconic 80s, 90s, and even modern day creatures. Most notably, they are the crowd that were behind the aliens from Alien, the Alien Queen, Predator, the Jurassic Park dinosaurs, a whole slew of amazing done practical props, and I believe this was a full practical suit, even though the legs would indicate that it was some sort of CGI. It wouldn't have been CGI back in the day. I think it was an animated or animatronic prop that they used for this creature, but it is quite articulated, so we'll run down the articulation as we go. So the head is on a ball joint, so you can get some great up and down movements on it. Again, opening jaw would have been nice, but they didn't opt for that. You have an arm on a swivel. It doesn't go all the way around because you have to kind of swivel it out to avoid the big bone structures that are on the elbows or on the shoulders, these kind of shoulder pauldron type things. But you can get the arms up that much to get a T pose on it. You have single jointed elbows with swivels. You have a swivel in the wrist with a hinge, so depending on which of the hands you have in, you can hinge that in and out. The clawed hands are in a large kind of grasping, growling almost kind of pose. Again, you do have the swappable hand, and you can see the peg on this one, how it swaps out. I'm not going to do it on camera because it's excuse me, it's easier to warm up the joint first before you swap it out. There is dual diaphragm joint, so you have up here in the waist, or sorry, up here in the chest is a diaphragm cut, and then you have the lower waist, which you get some good range of movement and twists on. The legs can split this much, can kick forward. There is a double knee system, if you call it a double knee system. So you have the kind of chicken like legs on this thing. So you have the joint here for the first part of the knee, and then you have a secondary joint here. This has a swivel on it, this has a swivel on it. There is a swivel thigh as well on these, and you have ball jointed rocker ankles on the feet, and there is one foot peg. Now there isn't a actual, at least I don't remember mine coming with a stand. I could be wrong. I don't remember it being in the box, and I'm pretty sure all the accessories I took were all these. The tail is a kind of bendy wire situation, but there is a hinge, so just be careful to not overstretch it. There you can see the little holes here on where the air holes for the wire, for the bendy wires, but it is a bendy wire system for the tail as well. And that tail does swivel side to side as well, so if you want the tail to kind of go more out to the side, you can do so. I kind of leave mine in the default position, but it is quite a nice critter overall. It stands pretty tall, as I showed, and has a fairly intimidating presence on any shelf, which is a pretty cool, good look to this thing. As I said, you could get away with it being on a shelf with your McFarlane or even NECA stuff. Here is Casey as the Phantom of the Opera Casey. You can see he wouldn't look too out of place on a shelf with some horror movie icons from NECA. Now I don't have any like the Mummy, Boris Karloff mummies or anything stuff like that to kind of put him in with. He would even look together, again, I don't have them with me, but the Jada Toys version of the Universal Monsters lineup, the ones with the Wolfman, is it Boris Karloff? No, the Bela Lugosi Dracula, and Frankenstein, and Frankenstein's the Bride of Frankenstein, and a few of the other characters. We'll just bring in Alfred here from the McFarlane line of Batman 66. Again, it is a 6-inch figure, or a 1/12 scale design figure, so it should be in scale to this. It is a massive, massive creature, so it is what it is, and it looks intimidating, as I said, on a tabletop or on a display. So it is quite nice. Just be aware, it is quite tall, so you need to have that kind of shelf space to kind of give it more room on a display. Unless you have an open top display, then you're pretty much good to go. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video review for the Pumpkinhead creature from the film Pumpkinhead. Again, I will put a link in the description below to Uncanny Collectibles, where I picked this cool figure up, and they have other figures. If they can get more of them in, they will always be happy to try and help if they don't have them in stock. At the time of this recording, that is, because if you're watching this like several years down the line, it's more than likely they will not be able to get one because they will be long discontinued. But at the moment, at the time of this recording, they should be able to get one in if you ask them nicely enough. So there you go, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope you watched it all to the end. And please give me a like, comment, subscription, or if you can, send it to people who would appreciate this, as even horror buffs that might enjoy this film, or this review, and be entertained by this quick review. So thanks again for watching. As always, have a great day, and hopefully see you on the next video. Cheers.